What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and I have something very special for you today. If I'm not mistaken, this is the very first 2023 Bolt EUV Redline edition that you're gonna see on YouTube in person. Now, the Redline is not new. We've had this on Chevys for years and years, but this is the first time that the Bolt has ever had the Redline appearance package, so it's pretty cool. So we're gonna just do an overview of it, talk about some of the additions that you get here on the Redline edition, and then I will be making a separate video comparing my 2022 Bolt EUV, which I've made look very similar to this Redline, to the actual Redline edition itself, and talk about some of the differences I've noticed between my 2022 and the 2023 so far. But in this video, we're mainly just gonna be taking a look at what you get on the Redline edition and then what this specific Premier has as well. Let's get into it. So obviously the Redline edition is an appearance package. So you're gonna notice the red lines that appear on the vehicle. Mainly, you have this little graphic here. It's basically a sticker that goes along the side mirrors. You have it on both sides. And then you have these really cool gloss black wheels that have little red stripes on them as well. The wheels also have a really nice little texture to them. They kind of have these little arrows on them, which give it kind of a more electric-y look, which I don't mind in this case. I think it looks pretty good, and it mirrors some of what we have going on the interior, which we'll take a look at in just a second. So red pinstripe on the side mirrors, red pinstripe on the wheels as well, and then there's also the red badging on the back, which we'll take a look at in just a second. This model also has the adaptive cruise control, Super Cruise as well. This is the first time I've ever taken a look at Super Cruise. We'll be testing that out. It's got the surround view camera system. It's got the sunroof. It's really kind of loaded out to the max. This is just about as good as it gets. Leather interior, which we'll take a look at in a second. It's got really cool accented trim. And obviously you have this all black look, which I absolutely love. So like I said up front, you do have this Redline badging. It's basically the original Bolt badging, all black where it used to be silver, and then red where it used to be blue. And it has a little bit of red trim around the black letters as well. It really looks awesome. I'm obviously a huge fan of the black and red color scheme. I've done this exact type of thing to my Bolt, custom. It doesn't look quite as good, but I think it looks pretty good in comparison. But everything else back here is pretty standard. The black Chevy bow tie is on all the new Bolts, so no change there. That's not specific to the Redline edition or anything like that. Standard rear view camera that works with the surround view camera system. One thing that is different on this than mine is you have your rear view mirror camera up here, and we'll take a look at that in a second when we go inside, but that's where the actual physical camera is, and then you have a little sprayer to clean that off. Obviously, the EUV just came out last year, so in 2023, you're not gonna get crazy differences between the two models. This is just an appearance package that is specific to obviously the Redline with this badging and whatnot, but everything else that this has is just a Premier trim thing. But let's go ahead and hop inside the cabin. So hopping inside this cabin, a couple things stand out to me that are a little bit unfamiliar just because I have a base model. I don't have a rear view mirror camera like this. I don't have heated and ventilated seats, a heated steering wheel, this kind of more leather wrapped steering wheel with it's a little bit bulkier down at the bottom as well, but we'll talk about more of that in my next video. But this stands out a lot. This LED bar, you notice it right when you get in. This is the Super Cruise indicator, and then you have the little Super Cruise camera. It's not really sensor is better, probably the better word. Just make sure you're still like looking at the road and things, and we'll let you know if you're not. So a couple things here and there that stand out as different to me, being so accustomed to my vehicle, the base model. But we're here to talk about the Redline. So what do you get here on the Redline? These really nice leather appointed black seats with red accent stitching. It looks awesome, very sporty. And these leather seats, I've talked about this in a few other videos, are noticeably more comfortable in my opinion than the cloth seats. Now, everyone is different, everyone has their preferences, so you'll have to test drive one to see for yourself which ones you prefer, but I can tell from being very used to my base model seats that are cloth, I do find the leather ones a little bit more comfortable, and obviously they have heating and AC, so people might prefer them anyway. So you get that really nice, sporty red accent. I wish they had gone the extra step and put the red accent stitching around the steering wheel. You have just kind of the simple gray stitching around the steering wheel and on like you would have on the seats of the base model. Things like that, it doesn't really stand out as much. You also have the red accent stitching on the back seats, and then you have the red accent stitching here on the leather pointed parts of the door frame, which is a nice touch. I also wish they would have added the red stitching to the armrest here. I think that would have been kind of furthering the Redline thing, and you'd be able to tell a little bit better, but you don't have that as an option. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, outside of that, if someone didn't see the outside of your car, they wouldn't know it's a Redline. because the red lines, see what they did? In here on the seats is the only indicator, which is fine. Again, it's an appearance package. It's not some upgrade or something like that. It's just an appearance package, guys. But I think it looks awesome. And it's not gonna cost you a ton more. The sticker on this one's like $38.5, which I really wish they would have had this one when I got mine, because mine was like 36 something. I would have just gotten this and had Super Cruise and all this kind of extra stuff that I don't have. Bummer. Wish I would have waited a year for the tax cuts, but I have loved my Bolt for the year that I've had it. If you guys are interested in my 1-year review, I did make that a couple months ago. I'll have it linked above and down in the description. But outside of the wheels, the badging on the back, the sticker on the side mirrors, and then the red accent stitching on the seats, that's about it. Now, the Super Cruise is an add-on to the Redline edition here and the Premier edition. You don't get that by default. So we had 2 of these. One had no Super Cruise and the other one had Super Cruise. And it is, I think, $2,500 add-on. So I'm gonna take it out on the highway, test out Super Cruise, and bring you guys along with me for my first impression. All right, so with a little trial and error, figured it out. You can't be in the way of the face, so it's hard to film. So I'm filming off to the side here. It has to be able to clearly see your face, and you have to start in the center of the lane. So it's kind of picky, but once you're in the middle, the little steering wheel will turn green, and then it will take over, and it will, wow, speed me way up. I don't want to be going that fast. And it will keep me in the center of the lane as long as the little green steering wheel is lit up green. So you can see the wheel kind of turning to keep me in the center of the lane. Obviously, I'm not touching it with my hands at all. And it's slowing down since this vehicle in front of me is slowing down a little bit. So it's doing a pretty good job. You know, like I said, I think Hyundai is the best pseudo self-driving system on a cheaper end vehicle like this. Obviously, it doesn't compare to something like what Tesla has, but a lot of these companies have caught up and have something comparable, even if it's just not necessarily like a Super Cruise or a self-drive kind of thing, and more of just an adaptive cruise control with lane centering like Subaru has. Still really good. I haven't messed with it a ton, and obviously different than like an adaptive cruise control or something like that. This only works on mapped highways. So the fact that it's working now is great. That's fun and all, and could be more relaxing on those long trips, but it's not gonna work on the back roads if you're in bumper to bumper traffic on a side road or something like that, which could be considered a downside. I'll give Super Cruise a B. B minus. How about that? So thanks so much for watching, guys. Drop a like on the video if you loved it. Let me know what you think about the 2023 Chevy Bolt EUV Redline Edition. Do you have one on order? You trying to pick one up? We have 2 at my dealership over at Bachman Chevrolet, so if you're interested, definitely head on over there and pick one of these up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss my comparison between my 2022 Chevy Bolt EUV Redline Edition and the actual Redline Edition. We'll see you in that video.